Last week, we started our series on Claude Cowork with a primer, kind of an amuse-bouche, if you will. How can I set up Cowork better than 95% of users? Well, this week, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty. In this video, I'm going to show you 5 great things you could do with it to save yourself real time and real money. These are just examples, but after this video, you'll start to see all the different ways that Cowork can save you time, money, and multiply your daily output. A quick recap. Cowork is the Claude desktop app. You install it on your system, you give it permissions to read and write inside one folder, like My Documents, and you connect the cloud tools you're already using. Microsoft 365, Slack, your CRM system, your help desk, whichever ones you've got. From there on, you talk to it in plain English in a chat window. It can read your files, write new ones, send messages, pull data from the tools that you've connected, and run on a schedule. Think of Microsoft Copilot inside Office as the assistant sitting next to you while you're working inside of Word, Excel, and Outlook. Well, Cowork is the assistant that can walk down the hall, pull a file from another office, drop a draft on someone's desk, and come back with a one-page summary. When you go to start to develop a Cowork routine, think of it as a job that you're posting. This is an autonomous task doer. Tell it what you want, get as complicated as you want, and watch it go. You probably don't have time to sit down every morning and check Reddit reviews, Google reviews, Yelp, your industry forum, and the local news for mentions of your business name. Most owners I talk to do it once a quarter maybe, if at all, and by the time they spot a bad review or a Reddit thread, the moment to respond is long gone. I think this is the use case that owners get excited about most. You write one instruction, something like, every Monday at 6 a.m., search Google, Reddit, our local news, and anything else for our business name, and maybe our top 2 competitors' names. Summarize what's there and flag anything negative. That instruction will sit on a timer and the work will happen overnight, and the summary will be waiting for you before you have coffee. For a small business, that's the difference between knowing about a 1-star review the morning after it lands versus 3 weeks later when a prospect mentions it on a call. There are services out there that do this, but they're expensive, and if you're paying for them, you can stop doing that now. First hour of your day on most days is fragmented, right? Calendar, inbox, 2 or 3 project tools, Teams, Slack, maybe LinkedIn. By the time you've checked everything, you burn the part of the morning where you actually think clearly if you're anything like me. You can hand that to Cowork though. Write the instruction once. Every weekday at 7 a.m., read my calendar for the day, summarize the unread emails marked important, pull my open tasks, write me a 1-page brief. And from then on, the brief is sitting there at 7 a.m. every day. Now, I run a version of this for myself, and it looks at my calendar, my inbox, my CRM, any news articles that might be pertinent to my client base, and the summary lands at 8. After a month of doing this, I've noticed that I'm making decisions way faster in the morning because the noise has been filtered out. It's a boring use case that pays for the tool by itself. Nobody's going to put it in a marketing video for Cowork because it doesn't sound exciting. But every single business owner I've shown the morning brief to has installed it within a week. And hey, before we get to use cases 3 through 5, next week we're covering Claude Code, which is an absolute game changer for anyone in your business who deals with code, scripts, or maybe some custom internal tools that you might want to make. Take a second to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss it. Now back to the list. I talked about this one in a webinar and people went crazy. You probably have 3 to 5 competitors that you should be watching, and you probably don't watch them on any regular basis. Their website refreshes, their pricing page changes, their blog adds a new post, somebody on their team posts a hiring spree on LinkedIn. How valuable is that information to you? Well, Cowork can pick that up. Use something like this prompt. Every Friday at 4 p.m., check the homepage, pricing page, and blog for these 5 competitors. Note anything that's changed since last Friday. Check their LinkedIn company pages for posts that I haven't seen. Put it in a brief with links. Now that doc is going to land every Friday afternoon, and you can scan it for 5 minutes. If something matters, you click through, and if nothing matters, close the tab. Either way, you didn't spend a week refreshing the competitor web pages by hand. If you did the work that we set out in last week's video to tell Cowork who you are and what you do, this one's going to be a lot easier. Most small business owners write the same kinds of communication over and over. The price change notice, the post-meeting recap, the thank you for the referral note, they all sound like you when you write them because they are you. They sound like a template when your assistant writes them because they're working from one, right? You can teach Cowork your voice once. Drop a folder of your past emails and proposals into the folder that Cowork has access to, and then write what's called a skill, which is just a saved instruction set. Something like, when I ask for a client letter, use the tone that's in these examples and the rules that are in the writing style document. And here's a little bonus tip for you that I talked about last week. There's a wiki that keeps track of AI writing giveaways. Tell your skill to look at that wiki every week and update itself so that it doesn't sound like AI. So from then on, when you need a new price change email, you don't write from scratch, you ask Cowork for a draft. The draft sounds like the rest of your business sounds. All you have to do is change 1 or 2 sentences and send it. For a healthcare facility, an accounting practice, a law firm, or any business where the owner's voice is the brand, this is genuinely valuable. Most of the team isn't going to write like you, but now Cowork can. I highly recommend you still review every draft before it goes out though. A model that can write like you can also confidently say something incorrect in your voice. Now, every small business has a report that nobody on staff wants to write. Monthly client review, weekly internal digest for the team, quarterly summary for the board. The data is in your tools, but the slog is in the assembly. You've got to pull the data from here, paste it into here, chart it over here, write the narrative across it, format it, make sure it fits your branding, blah, 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 blah. That's all Cowork country, man. Write the instruction once on the last business day of the month. Pull these numbers from Microsoft 365 and our CRM and drop them into the template at this file name. Write the executive summary in this voice. Save the draft to this folder. The first draft is sitting in the folder on the last day of the month every month before you've thought about it. And all you have to do is review it. So there's 5 things you can do with Cowork, and I am curious to hear what you do with it, because what did I miss? What business process do you have that this can save you hours each week on? Let me know in the comments in this ever-changing IT landscape. Be adaptive. We'll see you next time.